Hi everybody. It is a live stream. I know it's been a while. And I keep having to change it, which is terrible. I'm trying to find that consistency like I used to have on Saturdays. Today is May 12th, 2021. And the reason I need to change it, it just seems like Wednesdays are just hard. With my schedule with the kids as well as my own business, it's just making things a little bit more challenging for me to actually get into the swing of things. Seems like as soon as I get home, I am running right back out the door again, and vice versa. So, lots of things have been changing though. Some information coming down the line too regarding the business in general. I will be having another MFR therapist starting soon. So the prices will change just a little bit from the difference between her expertise, which would be a beginner, versus mine, and as well as needing to change the price just slightly anyway, because this is like gonna sound strange, but I recently found out that for the questionable parlors, so to speak, that do traditional massage, apparently it's $60 to enter the door. So I tend to get a lot of strange calls, and I never knew why. Now I do. So I'm going to increase a tiny bit, and I'm going to do it based upon angel spirit readings to identify the cost. So those will be coming soon. I haven't done it yet. I'm just kind of waiting because I only want to do one price change. So once my friend is ready to move forward with her coming into my business as a contractor, then those things will shift and change as well. So, with that said, breathe a little bit, right? I do have somebody who's going to be a guest for the mind space technique, where I actually do a full on mind space demonstration. But she is going to be coming on for Sunday the 23rd. Mostly because even though I'm going to be switching to Sundays just because it's going to be easier for me to do the live streams then. This Sunday, I am taking my national counselor's exam, so I won't be able to do live stream starting this Sunday. I'm very nervous. I want to pass it, need to pass it. And what that will do for me is after then my 3,000 hours of clinical mental health therapy, I'll be able to bring it back to my business so I can practice by myself. So that's future goal, to work with kids and, expand the practice that way. So yeah, I'm nervous. Send some prayers, that I absorb it, because, with the spiritual activity, it doesn't always get in there. But regardless, so that's changing. I've been doing a lot of house clearings lately with very interesting things between demons and demon likes, and this one house recently that my team went to, when as soon as I walked on the property, I got this instant headache, and it wouldn't go away, and it finally went away once I dealt with the situation. But when I walked into the house, I just kept hearing murder house over and over and over again. So it was a house that was just holding together by spiritual activity. So fortunately, she's renting. So if it falls apart, she can get out and get her money back. But it was an interesting space. I have a few more upcoming that I know are going to be interesting as well. But in addition to that, unfortunately, my son lost another friend this past Saturday. So that hit me really hard to hear that on Mother's Day, unfortunately, since Mother's Day is always a hard day for me with losing Morgan. So, yeah, that kind of took some wind out of my sails a little bit and caused me to take a pause. Those of you that are listening out there that are struggling, find that one person that you can trust to admit that you're using and that you need help, or that you're thinking about it, kind of like a 911 call for yourself when you need it, and seek out that help. Eventually, the Morgan's Charity, which I am working on, another thing that I'm trying to coordinate and get done, but Morgan's Charity will help those in this kind of situation by offering free services with the physical pain, the emotional pain, the mental pain through the work that I do, as well as others that I'm associated with. So as soon as we have that up and running and collecting various aspects of cash to help others, I'll open up those lines for assistance. So all you other friends out there, and even those I don't know that are struggling with addiction, just stay strong and find that one person that you feel can answer the phone no matter when to talk you from not doing it. So my heart goes out to his mom and his family, and unfortunately I know all too well how it feels, as well as feeling like I lost another too. But all those that are using, you are loved. Even if somebody is frustrated and doesn't know how to help you and maybe doing tough love, it doesn't mean they don't love you. It just means they don't know how to help. And one thing I've learned is you can only help yourself in the end. And you can have others help you and keep you stronger. But you got to deal with those emotional pains. You got to deal with the loss that you're experiencing. You have to process the hurts inside so that way you don't go towards those kind of things. So I miss you, and I really hope that was the last. So all you guys watching that I love and care about, if you struggle, you can call me. Always. So with that said, there's a lot of positives coming down the line and a lot of positives coming towards my business. And I cannot wait to embrace the future of where this is going, as well as looking for people who will be able to assist me in that way. So if you are a medium or an MFR therapist and you're looking for any practice, or even if you are looking to grow your abilities, you can always schedule something, as well as reach out regarding future classes. I will be doing an expert spiritual class. I have 2 people that are looking to continue on, and I need to get that planned too. So if you're interested, make sure you reach out and I'll get you added to the list. Okay, so with all that said, because that's quite a bit, I was like thinking, it's just, I'm always distracted. Anyway, so what I want to do is I want to describe the mind space and what that means and why it's important. And I know I touched base on it a little bit in the past, but this, I think, is the best way to lead into because of losing another one of Morgan's friends. So our mind space is our raw information that we have access to at any point in time. And it's there to help guide us. And some of that is this life, and some of that is past life. And some of it is just, maybe you don't remember it, but your body remembers it because your soul remembers it. And if your soul remembers it, then your body and your mind remembers it. So when you can access your mind space, especially when you're struggling to move forward in a particular way, whether it's addiction, suicidal thoughts, grief, relationships, confidence, you name it. It helps you identify how deep it goes and how to modify it in a way that's productive. Because we all sit there and say, feeling is healing, and that is true. But how do you feel something when it's so painful that you don't want to feel it? Or you're stressed out. Well, don't be stressed out. Just relax. And you do meditation and breathing exercises and various other things, and yet it really doesn't help. When you go into that space, it just helps even more. And for some people, they have an instant change and it's instantly done and it's instantly corrected and they're never think about it again. For others, there's layers of pain there, and those layers need to be accessed and remembered so that way you can process it consciously, because we are humans that need to consciously process everything, and then let it go. It's not completely gone, and it doesn't mean you won't be triggered again, but the triggers should get less and less, and the triggers should not last as long. And then within the mind space, just like past life regression, which I've done a video for, when we can let it go, we're able to approach things a little bit differently. And when we're done, putting that energy flow of whatever that issue is into its appropriate storage box on a subconscious level would just mean that instead of walking around with it, here all day, especially if it's something that's triggering us all day, every day, it then goes into its appropriate storage bin so you can walk around and exist in the world without this looming cloud hanging over you or this looming button ready to fire at any moment. And so, in addition to mind space and accessing the information that we all have access to, we put it into its appropriate buttons, into its appropriate boxes. So that way we don't have to be triggered day in and day out. And this comes especially for issues where something's been done to us and we haven't let it go. It hurts. It's a label. Maybe the person who did it to us was our mom or our dad or a sibling. And if that's the case, it's a little harder to let it go because there are special label. They're this person, they're that person. But what ends up occurring is when we can put it into its appropriate boxes, we can then take a moment and not actually be triggered by that person as much because it's on the surface layer every day until we let some of it go. And then it becomes a little bit more, we're able to tolerate a little bit easier that person. So think of it like that way. It's almost like lessening the layers. And if we can lessen those layers, we just feel better. And we make better choices for ourselves, as well as put it in a place where it's not our fault. Maybe some of it is. But sometimes our reactions to things is not our fault. It's a trigger. And if that trigger is not dealt with, you're walking around with it all the time. And that, unfortunately, is where a lot of our addictions and our suicidal thoughts come from. So it's no wonder people struggle to let go of something. The shame, the guilt, the pain. It's hard to stop, and it's hard to get off that cycle. And if we don't get off that cycle, we will never get off that cycle. And whether or not we're still around is one thing. Whether or not we beat the addiction. But in the end, we can all be healthier and happier. Because if we're happy, then we're not in as much pain. And this isn't like most things where we all want in our society of a quick, I feel better, let me feel better situation. Sometimes it's a life choice, a life path. And we might have to do it all the time throughout our lives for a particular person in our life who, if they weren't a special label, they probably wouldn't be in our life, but they are. So we have to deal with it. But then there's also the aspect of, what if somebody you know reminds you of that situation? Or every time you get into a new relationship, it's the same situation where you put everything in front of you and that person gives you nothing. Or worse, they abuse you. And why do you keep picking that relationship? Well, that information is where it's at. And it will tell you and it will guide you. And doing it by yourself can be done. It's all about the importance of protecting the space to ensure nothing negative is nearby from an energy perspective. But then also making sure you're putting your subconscious energy flow of this particular aspect of you into its appropriate storage box so you don't walk around triggered all day. So it is powerful work. Like a lot of the things that I do. Myofascial release is powerful work. Spiritual communication, powerful work. Past life regression, powerful work. And it can help and it can hurt. But in the end, if you're doing it right, it is the most powerful healing a lot of people can actually process. So the biggest thing in the end, everybody, not just those with addictions, just be a little bit easier with yourself. Know that you don't know the answer for everything and know that you shouldn't. Know that there has been hurts done to you, some in some ways that may not seem a big deal compared to others, but it's your hurt, even if it's not as big as something else. And if we could just be a little bit easier on our hearts and our minds and let go of some of this judgment that we have for ourselves, let alone for others, we can be a little bit better, a little bit easier. So, with that in mind, I challenge all you that watch this, that before our session on the 23rd, remember that and kind of start to process that. Because if you're so inclined, while I'm walking through another person through the demonstration, follow along. Ask yourself the questions that you want to ask and wait for that information. And use it for a little virtual me speaking to multiple people because it might make sense. I was thinking of doing spiritual communications tonight as well, but with the passing of Matt, I haven't really been okay to open up. It's one of the curses of my abilities. It's very difficult at times to open up when the pain is so raw. So I won't be doing spiritual. This will just be a short night. And I will start up the live streams 100% every Saturday, starting the 23rd. And look forward to some of those changes that are coming. I'm hoping within a month there'll be extra help, if not sooner, for an option on, I believe it's Saturdays is the day she'll be able to be there. So, but I look forward to helping, and I know she does too. Enjoy your week. It's a beautiful day. I'm actually doing some stained glass work, finishing up a lotus flower piece, all blues, for my first order, because I put it out there if somebody wants to order. And it doesn't have to be those things. You could always send me a picture and I could tell you if I can do it. But that's my meditation. So I'm going to finish that up as I'm almost done and relax for the rest of the night. So everybody enjoy. Thank you for tuning in for these changes and hearing me cry a little bit for Matt. Any prayers you can say to his family, that'd be great too. Positive energy. If you don't say prayers, just send mom the strength and his sister and his sister's kids to have the strength they need in this painful moment of time. Thank you. I saw the message come up. What time on Sunday? I didn't say that. It will be 10 a.m. So, but then always they're available if you don't watch the live stream. But thank you for the reminder, Allie.